6 months after Julia Lancaster stunned the nation by inheriting her grandfather's $90 million estate, she was on the cover of Forbes, hailed as the artist who inherited an empire. But behind her poised smile and curated gallery openings, something was unraveling. Victor's legacy had a shadow. It began with a letter no stamp, no return address left on her art studio doorstep. You think you won, but Victor owed more than money. He owed truth, and you're about to pay the debt. Julia froze. The handwriting was eerily similar to her grandfather's. She brushed it off as a bitter prank. Until the next morning, when the koi in Victor's pond, all of them were found floating belly up. The same pond where that photo clue had been hidden. Poisoned. Symbolic. Police chalked it up to sabotage. Julia increased security. She told no one. Not even Elliot. Elliot, now her advisor and silent ally, had stayed behind after the will debacle, helping Julia modernize the Lancaster Foundation. He claimed to have burned all bridges with Charles, but Julia noticed he was unusually quiet lately, always locking his laptop, taking calls in hushed tones. One night, unable to sleep, Julia searched her grandfather's study again, this time for answers, not inheritance. Behind a false panel in the bottom drawer, she found a manila envelope marked, "Not for Julia's eyes unless I'm gone." Inside, a sealed confession, typed, cold. To whomever finds this, I knew Charles would try to kill me, but he wasn't alone. Vivian helped forge the building permits that covered up the sabotage. And Elliot, me, Golden Boy, he knew it all. He stayed quiet because I funded his startup in exchange for silence. If Julia inherits, they won't let go. She needs to see them for who they are. Victor Lancaster. Julia nearly vomited. Elliot knew? The very next day, Elliot proposed they co-chair the foundation and expand into tech funding. His charm was effortless. But now, every smile felt rehearsed. Julia staged a test. She told Elliot she planned to donate half the fortune to art programs for low-income schools. He smiled, nodded. But that night she had the new security system activated. His laptop triggered a data transfer to an unknown server labeled Project Reclaim. She traced the IP. It pinged in Zurich. That same week, Vivian reappeared. Looking fragile, apologetic, she asked Julia for a second chance. Said she'd been in therapy, brought flowers. Julia let her in. Vivian waited until Julia left the room to pour 2 drops of an unknown liquid into Julia's tea. She never noticed the nanny cam above the fireplace. Julia didn't drink it. She played the footage for Vivian, calmly, as security waited outside the door. Vivian didn't beg. She just laughed and said, "You think you're in control. You're just sitting on a throne made of knives." By week's end, Elliot's accounts were frozen. Vivian was arrested for attempted poisoning. And Julia? Julia moved out of the Lancaster estate. She turned it into a public museum honoring Victor's flawed genius. But deep down, she knew the rot ran deeper. Final twist. Months later, she received a private DNA test from a journalist investigating Victor's affairs. One line stood out. Subject: Julia Lancaster, biological father. Unknown. Victor Lancaster. Not a genetic match. She wasn't a Lancaster by blood. Victor knew it all along. And still chose her. Julia didn't cry this time. She smiled. Guess that makes me the only one who didn't inherit the madness.